We talking shop, we talking shop, we talking shit, baby. We talking shop, we talking shop, we talking shit, baby. We talking shop, we talking shop, we talking shit, baby. We talking shop, we talking shop, we talking shit, baby.
Yes, sir. Talking Shop, episode 138, presented by Anchor. I'm your host, Bobby Hall, and with me, as always, my co-hosts, Dylan Lesevich and Joe the Greek. Boys, we're back, and we're following up, I'd say maybe even more of a successful second live stream after the debut a few weeks back, and our supporters and friends came out and they showed out, man. We implemented that donation meal, and we were able to
really
tally up $132. So
yeah,
that was awesome.
It's phenomenal.
That was really cool. I wasn't really 100% sure where I was going to kind of gauge how much I thought we would get, but
I was thinking like $50 at the most.
Yeah, to be honest, but $132, man, on the first time, and that's gonna just go right into the little TSP account, and we'll have that there, and hopefully kind of just let that keep growing, and can upgrade some stuff. Like we talked about last night, we want to eventually
that mixer,
go after that Rodecaster mixer, and kind of add some cool features to the show. And the one thing we've always kind of wanted to do was like call-ins where everyone can talk to that person, not just the person that's on the phone with them. So
yeah, holding up the phone to the mic.
Yeah, which I mean, hey, for what it was, it worked pretty well. But
did the job.
It was nice to kind of have access to all three people instead of just one. And
fucking Rinky Dink Productions.
Yeah, and then Dylan, you'd have a full soundboard, which could be a dangerous thing. Who knows? But I guess
I kind of don't want to get him that thing now. This thing all the weird stuff he's gonna have on there.
It just makes dude, the hoops and hurdles of production from day one to now. Yeah, that would just make everything in one little system, make everything much easier. So.
Yeah, and I was thinking, because I've been trying to think about when we'll have like a stopping point to the season. And I feel like we're entering April, and I feel like it wouldn't be right if we didn't end until after the 3-year anniversary. It'd be kind of suck to have that pass by while we're
true
chilling. Yeah. So I think that's maybe around the point where we'll kind of plan the little break or whatever, or season 5 finale. But I gotta say though, between the upgrades with Streamlabs and this new venture into live streaming and stuff, season 5 has to be far and above, and the guests too. I mean, not to mention, season 5 has to far and above be the best season of Talking Shop thus far, probably by a mile. To be honest, that's kind of what I think.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I think that made strides, evolving, growing the brand, and just like you said, just the live stream. We've been talking since season 1 of Talking Shop. Just wanting to go live and getting, I guess, our word out there, or our content out there immediately for the people to watch on YouTube, and just get a bigger crowd, because I mean, not everyone has Spotify or Apple Music. Harder to get to those things. I guess podcasts are everywhere. We're on 9 different platforms, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, evolving.
How do you want it?
Podcast is, we made leaps.
Yeah, and I think really since like almost day 1, people were asking, "Hey, it's cool to listen to you guys, but like, when can we see you guys?" So, finally, we've been talking about it for so long, and we did have, and Google Meet served us pretty well, but I think, once you guys found this whole Streamlabs thing and been able to kind of get that set up, I think this is a great platform for what we do, and it's been pretty seamless for the most part. There's been a couple of hiccups. You're gonna have that, obviously, but I've enjoyed using this. And I think it serves us well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, and just gotta say thanks again to everybody that came out and supported us. even the ones that, you know, just came in the comments and were chilling, that's at the end of the day, you take that all day. And then obviously the folks that donated, you know, to the show, man, I think they know what we're trying to do, what we're trying to strive for. And like I told you guys, you know, we get these wheels. I don't think we're always going to get maybe that much, but you know, you that stuff adds up, you know, with time. And I know, Big Walter, he's waiting for us to get up there. So obviously, if we have, you know, little change in there, we can obviously get up there and you know, buy some good stuff for him to throw up on the grill and the smoker, and we can figure out.
He really wants to smoke that
We
gator.
got the channel now too, so we'll try to do some kind of filming of something, you know, so we get some kind of content out of that, you know, and he will too, I'm sure. So, it just gives us
I
a
got
little
no
more
problem
flexibility.
recording.
Yeah,
Shoot some video up there.
Little vlog.
and we'll figure it out. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to be in it as well, so we gotta just, you know, figure it
Yeah.
out. But, great, man. It was a great time. I'm feeling it again this morning. I have a little mini hangover, but I think I'll be able to shake it off.
Because you're old now, man.
Yeah. I mean, but still, you know, you got the liquor and the brews going, but I got this C4 popping, and it'll bring me back to life.
There you go.
And
Back in your veins.
we're doing all right. Other than the fact that when I woke up, I seen snow, man. It's disgusting.
Yeah, right. Why?
Get that out of here. I mean, I know we're still like in
It's
winter,
April.
but it's just like
No, we're not. I don't think we are. What is it, like
I
the
felt
21st?
70-degree weather, you know, the other week. Like, why is she doing that to us? But it is what it is, man. We're almost out of the woods, you know, out of that Ohio winter shit. But I'm ready. But I'm excited for today too, guys. We like I said, season 5, we've had such an incredible, amazing run of guests. I pride myself on the fact that we've been able to bring on a lot of people that have never been on the show and aren't necessarily people that, you know, running our personal circles and stuff. So been reaching out to different people, and for the most part, they've been, you know, willing to come on and talk shop. So it's been awesome.
It's been interesting,
And,
for sure.
that continues today with episode 138. We've got Ashley Collins on today, on-air personality, host, you know, deep into the sports media in the Cleveland area, and you know, reps the city hard. And I've been watching her on, you know, Bally Sports. Well, it was Sports Time Ohio, but now it's Bally Sports. Basically since like my brief college days, or whatever you want to call it, back then. So I'm really excited to have her on, and you know, we're gonna pick her brain a little bit on some stuff, and kind of get to know her a little better, and kind of how she weaved in and out of like a male dominated, you know, industry, because I'm sure that came with a lot of bumps and bruises. But very excited. So with that, Dylan, why don't we bring on our guest? Ashley, welcome to the show. We are very appreciative of your time, and we're excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I'm ready to have some fun. I'll tell you that.
Let's go. We are too.
Okay.
We'll kind of just jump to the beginning, and then kind of work our way up a little bit. But we kind of did some research and stuff, and we seen that you went to Kent State, and I'm assuming is that where you went there for like sports media?
I did not. It's such
Okay.
a great story that I always I'm on a podcast, or someone asked me in the industry, like, hey, how'd you get in? I'm trying to do the same thing. So I went to Kent for marketing. So I always thought I wanted to do some sales or event coordinating or something of that nature. I mean, I've always been a huge sports fan, Cleveland fan, grew up here day one. And so I always enjoyed sports. So I always would be talking about sports, you know, watching games and whatnot. So my first job out of college was at Little Mountain Country Club, which was on the east side of Cleveland here. And I was doing some event coordinating. During that time, the coordinating producer at Sports Time Ohio at the time, Pat is his name. They had golf memberships there. So they're always up there in the summer, right? We're chatting, going through some sports stuff. It's just funny. He's like, hey, we're looking for a new position on our show, and it's called All Bets Are Off. At the time, Bruce Drennan had the show solo. Back then, in this little basement studio that they had over at the Channel 3 building in Cleveland. And so he's like, we're looking for this new position. It's kind of like an update girl, if you will. So you would do updates every hour, let's say during the show, just like what's going on in the world of sports. And, there's some other things we really want to try. And I said, well, no, you're crazy. I went to school for marketing. So no, I don't know why you're asking me this. And it was just very strange, right? So I just put it away. I didn't even think about it. Saw him a couple times after he mentioned it. And I finally was like, what are you, an idiot? Go in and talk to him, see what's up. Like, who doesn't want to be on TV, right? I didn't think I did, but, I got so lucky because he was a very big on, I like to bring someone in that I can teach, from the ground up. And there's a lot of people that are on TV or sports or broadcasting, but like, if I can teach you everything this way, this is what I really am envisioning. And back in the day, Sports Time Ohio, it was like that, giving a lot of people chances, putting new shows on the air that everyone else didn't have, and just really trying stuff that they thought would work. So that is how I got my start. And I just went in, learned everything, obviously, that I possibly could from them. And they were so great because everyone was hands-on, very helpful from day one with me. And they didn't have to be, so I'm always so appreciative of that. And I've been there for 14 years now. So
that's crazy how that aligned up for you.
Crazy how that worked out, right?
Yeah. Whoops. You got a career.
How is it like to just be like kind of like a mentor and just be a sponge to Bruce?
Oh gosh, yeah. So it's really evolved over the years, and he's retired recently. So, but I mean, it's like my longest relationship. It's so funny to say. You're like, look, with Bruce Drennan every day, right? And he's great. He's exactly how he is. If you see him on TV, see colors that he screams at or that he laughs with. Literally the same way if you go on the golf course with him, if he was sitting right here next to me right now and he was doing this podcast. And he has been in the business, obviously, a very, very long time, coming from Chicago, doing radio, and doing the Indians games. There's just so much knowledge. So you're just, oh my gosh, well, you can recall whatever happened, this year, this date, and he knows those things. He's been crazy. And, you just kind of learn. It's funny. It's just like we know what the other one is going to say when we were, doing the show together. So my role expanded from doing updates and things like that to doing shows like Beer Money. I do some producing, I would do some editing, and then finally got like my big shot to co-host with him. So daily on the set with him. And that was just awesome because it really allowed us to become closer, to learn more about one another, to be able to do this every day. Because 2 hours just live, talking about, what's going on. Things can change in an instant when it's live television. And it was just really amazing to be able to work with him.
That's cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, I was a big fan of him in the show and would always obviously get a kick out of didn't take much to get him going. The wrong caller on the wrong day would definitely get the wrath for sure. But it was great television, that's for sure.
Yeah, those callers, he loves them. And, love and hate relationship there.
Yeah.
He just, they'll call in and say, oh, we need to trade Corey Kluber when it was that time. And he just loses it. And I was like, this is great. I just love when someone calls in and says something like that. So, hey, so it's pretty great. And through the years of the Browns too, being so bad, he used to have a paper bag that he would put on his head that said, we stink. And he would just open every show Sunday with it when we were, 0-16. And he was just
it's been a long time for that.
His wife had made it for him, and he still has it, which is funny. So it's just one of those things. It's hilarious to watch.
Since he hung him up, is he heading down south? Is that where they're gonna be going, or is he?
So he goes every year, and he goes for 25 days, which is crazy, to Florida. They used to go to Mexico, him and his wife, and spend a few weeks. And then during COVID, they switched where they were going. So they go down to Florida now. So he's like, we already booked. I just saw him the other day at the Cleveland Sports Awards. And he's like, yeah, we already have the next 3 years booked for this place in Florida. I was like, looking ahead to your vacation. Good to go. And he is a crazy, crazy avid golfer. He would be playing right now in this weather. He probably is.
Really?
Literally. And he says that this is funny. Mentally, he knows that he can play in the cold and be better than his opponent. So he thinks people will say, oh, it's too cold out. I don't know. Like, this is like not a good day for golf. He's like, so I mentally have the edge over them. And that's what he'll do.
Okay.
He says he
All
bought
mental
a
game.
cup and he got a little drink or so, or 2 or 3, and it helps the cold.
So when because you kind of got thrown in there with the kind of minimal, experience and knowledge, and really it seemed like, because when you got in there, it wasn't too long until we were seeing you on multiple different shows, and I think you were even like producing as well. So like, I think obviously at some point, being kind of new to the game, that had to be a little overwhelming. So like, how were you able to kind of overcome that and not kind of just like pull your hair out?
Yeah, it was for sure. And it was a lot of trial and error. Like, it was awful when I first started. I didn't know what was going on. Working hardest thing, and it's weird, but working on voice inflection. So I remember my boss sitting there with me, and we would sit in the office and just read over scripts. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're telling me. Like, what word that I need to figure out to, to inflect this into this, or stats wise, what this needs to sound like. So it was just, okay, we're going through it. Every time I was at home, I would have Sports Center or whatever on, and I'm listening just to everyone. I'm listening on the radio. I'm listening to anyone doing an interview. And it just was weird, because finally one day, and it took a long time, it just like clicked. So I was like, and now I understand what he was saying. Like, I'm hearing it for myself. I'm now hearing it in my voice of what I can do and to try and get through this. And it was, like I said, I was so grateful because so many people helped me. I had so many people reach out, like Jim Donovan. If you have him, he was in the same building as we were back in the day. To having guys like that and being around them at media facilities and just giving you pointers, it went such a long way in that. So it was a lot of work. And I feel like it took so long just to feel completely comfortable. I don't know if you ever feel completely comfortable on live TV, because who knows what could ever happen. Like,
yeah.
who knows?
Right.
So, but it did. It took a lot of that, and just a lot of studying and figuring out who I wanted to be as a media personality, and kind of what I could bring and why that would work.
Sure. And I'm glad you brought up live TV. Well, it wasn't live; it was tape, but still, one of the shows I used to like to watch was Beer Money. It was a pretty fun show, because you'd kind of go to different Cleveland bars and stuff, and just come up to people and ask Cleveland sports trivia, and I would be at home trying to guess, some of that stuff, and there were some tough questions, but
Yeah.
I'd always wondered, because you're in bars doing this stuff, so like, was there some like crazy moments, stuff that obviously all got scrapped and cut?
Yeah, well, so that is taped, because there's no way anyone would let
right
our live, right? It was crazy. It's funny you said hard questions, because everyone, like, no joke, just 2 days ago I was at the grocery store, and someone was like, he re-asked me a question that I had asked on Beer Money probably 10 years ago. Like, I should have known it. And he randomly just asked me this, so I wasn't even thinking Beer Money in my mind. And I'm at the store, like, getting stuff, and he's like, oh, something, the kicker back in whatever year. And I was like, no, I don't recall. I'm sorry. He's like, that was on Beer Money. You should know all those questions. I was like, well, no, I don't know. That was so long ago. But I always yell at my producer for the hard questions. So he would give me the card with them, and I was like, this is too hard. Give this person something simpler. Like, come on. But it was crazy in the bar. So imagine. And we didn't go too late, so we would be there relatively early. So happy hour-ish time. So usually there's not too much crazy stuff, but
there's always that one guy, though.
But yeah, sometimes the guy would be like, a little too drunk, sitting there watching, yelling stuff in the background, and there's a lot of people there helping out. So it never got too out of control, I will tell you that.
That's awesome.
That's good. I was wondering, because you'd see everyone that was on the show, they had a beer in hand, so I kind of figured
I wasn't allowed to have one, so I was like, this is kind of messed up. Like, you're all drinking.
What is this?
That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's beer money, so the host should at least be able to have one or two maybe.
How long was that segment going? Beer Money.
And I don't remember like how many years. It's all run together. Like I said, 14 years. I still like say 14, and I go, what the heck? That's crazy.
Wait, what?
So I mean, it was for a good amount of time, a good amount of years, and then I started focusing more on reporting stuff and like feature work. So then they continued it, I think maybe just for a season or two after, with different hosts. So it was great. I mean, they had done it, and I think New York was the first market that had it. And so that's kind of how that came about. Like, we want to do this here too. So it was going through all the rights, and we just started.
Okay.
We put a crew together. Here, go do the show. This
Well,
is
that
what
answers why I had a next question. I was going to go, whose idea was that show? But
Yep,
never mind.
that's where that happened from. So it was all about, getting those rights to it and making sure everything
Yeah.
was that way. But then, figuring it out. We did a lot of fun stuff, like different events. If someone said, hey, can you come to a golf outing and do it? Or there's a charity event at this place. So we did some things like that, not just, bars. So it was really fun, and people loved it, and they still talk about it to this day with me. And like I said, they think I know every question that was ever asked on it. So yes, I have a binder at home, all of those questions, just saying.
X
People
cards.
love it. It's a great show to, have on at the bar all the time, and people wanted to be on it. They still ask me, but then, COVID happened too. So that was kind of like, okay, would we ever do something like that again? So that totally changed the world of how things would be done.
Yeah, and you're right about your producer, because there'd be some wild questions like, who did the Indians draft in like 1968 or something? And it's like,
I
couldn't
would
even
get
fathom.
on a regular basis. And his name was Seth, and I was just like, I'm not doing it. Write a new question, or I'm not asking this, because there's no way this 22-year-old is gonna know what, So that was funny. And like, well, I'm the one who every now, so you're asking the question. So I said, okay.
I feel like my father-in-law would definitely know all those questions.
Yeah, right. Like,
I don't know why he just has it. What color were Bo Jackson's shoelaces in, whatever year? And one was yellow, the other was white. Why do you know that?
I know. That's just crazy trivia stuff. Like, right. Like, that's how Bruce would be with baseball, especially. Like, what are you just pulling this out of? Like, you remember what the weather was like during that game, 25 years ago. Like, it's insane. So, yeah, people just know their stuff. And that's why I think the show was so successful, too, because, I mean, Cleveland fans are super, super passionate about everything that's going on at all times during, their teams and sporting. So I think that's why it worked so well for that long.
As you kind of, weaved your way through a little bit in your career there, were they plucking you and placing you in all these things, or were you kind of going to some of the head guys and being like, hey, I'm kind of interested in golf, maybe I can kind of do something there? And
yeah, so that kind of just evolved, like the producing side. So when I would be doing on-air stuff, I just always found that I was like really close with and friends with the guys behind the scenes. So I found that I was just around them when they were doing stuff, right? And I'm seeing what's kind of going into it, which I think is so important. And I would tell anyone that's going into this field or trying to, that you should learn all of those things, because it's so important when you're doing it. So I think it was like a couple times they'd be like, oh, we need someone to fill in producing the red zone or the golf zone, which we used to have in our studios. So that's where that had started. And I'm still producing. I do 18 holes with Jimmy Hanlon and Natalie Gulbis. So when I can, I travel with them. And if I'm not, then I'm doing all the producing off-site, getting everything ready. So that was kind of I kind of fell into that because they needed someone to help out, and I had kind of been learning it anyways, and I just really liked it as well. So that's why, and my bosses were very pleased with it, because to this day, they'll say, well, we're going to send Ashley out to go to this because we know she can produce the feature herself. She'll know what she wants to put in. If we're going to shoot some video of it, you can write copy to it, do the voiceovers, edit a little bit of it, and get it to our editor then to just finish it up. And you could do the stuff on camera. So that was something that was really important to me and has brought me that way. But they were very good at Sports Time Ohio of trying to find new things all the time for people to grow and do better and find new avenues for them. So that's how that all happened and came about.
What's the production entail exactly? Like, I mean, I have a general idea, but
for which show?
Like the golf one or anything like.
So so the 18 holes, and that's a traveling golf show, and that is aired all across the country on all the Bally networks. So we get to travel, which is lovely, in January and February every year to all Arizonas and the Californias and, you know, the Floridas and all the warm spots to get those few shows started. But basically the production starts finding the courses, you know, getting them the information they need. I am in touch with everyone that's there, marketing wise. Anything that they need to be put into the show, I have to get figured out. Details for the crew, writing the scripts for Jimmy and Natalie, making sure they have everything that they may need for the day, and mapping out like how the show would make sense. So they, you know,
Everything.
and it's like each segment to be broken down, like, you know, holes 1 through 5, we're doing this is what we need to talk about or get in, you know, moving on like that. It's great. I get to travel. I love it. I would do it every day if I could. And they're actually doing college courses this year.
Oh.
So they will do all the best college golf courses in the country and travel and do all that. So it's pretty cool because that's always evolving too. And you're seeing a bunch of different places, and it's really fun to produce.
It seems like a lot of work, but definitely an awesome payoff.
It is.
You know, see it all come together.
Dealing with like 5 people sometimes at one time at a resort or a course, and you're like, oh my God, is anyone talking to each other? That's what I feel like sometimes. Like trying to bring it all together, which is what you need someone like that to do, right? And that's why it's an important role to have on a show like that, because, you know, the talent wants to go out and they want to shoot, and this is what they have to do. Everything else behind the scenes has to be taken care of before you get on site and before you get on the airplane to go travel. So it's really fun to do.
So your
basically the
event
glue.
planning experience kind of co-aligns a little bit with producing.
I know. I
Looks
do
like
in control too, so that's probably why I'm like, oh, I need to know everything that's happening, what time, trying to plan things out. I love planning things. I would plan a party every day if I could. So that's how I am still, which is funny 14 years later.
How was the transition from like Sports Time Ohio to today, where you guys are now Bally Sports Ohio?
Yeah.
Was there any like big, you know, changes or obstacles kind of going from that
So-
to that?
Went from Sports Time Ohio, which was like, felt like this little like just family that we all worked together, and it was just such on a smaller scale, right? So then that was sold off. We became Fox, and it was really scary at that time because we had no idea if anything was going to stay, if they just wanted to do the Indians games at that time. That's always what may be a possibility with anyone that would buy or take over a company. So it was a little unclear at first, and then it was business as usual. So the hardest thing is remembering the names when you're changing, you know, companies and not saying STO ever again. And I was like,
Yeah.
Fox Sports. So that was, everything really stayed the same. And it was the same then when we switched from Fox to Bally Sports Great Lakes. That was the hardest name for me to, you know, keep going with, because, you know, Bally Sports Great Lakes every time you're coming in and out of something.
what a mouthful.
You know, so that's the hardest part for sure. But things have, you know, had stayed the same until Bruce retired, obviously. So now we're not doing that show anymore. But yeah, it is literally had been great working for the companies throughout the year and everything that went along with it. And it stayed pretty seamless, really.
There you go. This is a question you may not have an answer for us. We're all based out of like the Toledo area, and
Okay.
the one thing that we've kind of come across is it's kind of difficult to watch like Cavs games, which kind of sucks because obviously they're doing pretty well this year.
Yep.
Do you know if there's any plans in place in the future to maybe expand availability?
I don't know that, so I can't say that, and I don't know if I'm even speaking on this correctly. I guess I've just maybe caught wind or heard some stuff about it being going to be able to be on the app. So
Okay.
I don't know this for sure. So
Sure.
I think as of now, like you have to have subscribe to something to have the app to be able to watch it. So it's like through the cable provider, let's say.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
Cavs games. I thought I heard some stuff that possibly, you know, with that app and because you're right, everyone asks about it. And I see it on social media. They're like tweeting to Bally's, and, you know, you feel bad because like whoever's taking those tweets doesn't know what to say. Or
Yeah, that social media team gets beat up for
because
sure.
you're right. Who would have thought the Cavs were going to be like this? And you're just
right.
Yep.
that. And it's funny because I have to always change cable providers to have the sports packages because I have to watch them, right? And so it's
Yeah.
just, I got to figure out what's happening, and I need to have these games. So it is. It's frustrating, I think, for everyone involved, and you want your fans to be able to watch everything. So I don't know. I'm sorry I had the worst answer ever on that.
No, I mean, I kind
I
of
can tell you,
figured it
I
was
promise.
like above your pay grade, you
Yeah.
know, but I figured, might as well kind of float it out there and see what's what. Because I think we even had a couple friends that did, I think it's like the NBA League Pass. And even with that, you'd pull up like a Cavs game and it'd be blacked out. So
Sure.
yeah, it's kind of like there's
That's
no
crazy.
way around it right now. But hopefully in the future we'll have a little more access.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
But I guess that'll kind of be our segue kind of into the Cavs season. I mean, yeah, I just listened to one of our shows from, right in the late fall where we had zero expectations and kind of thought we were going to be bottom of the barrel again because, they were talking about bringing Kevin Love off the bench and all that stuff. And we weren't sure about any of these young guys. And, I mean, look at him. And then we lost Colin Sexton too. And then fast forward to right now, they're in the midst of battling, pretty hard for that 6th seed, 5th seed area.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on kind of this whirlwind season and like what do you think was like the big reason that they kind of jumped way over everyone's heads with this play this year?
Yeah, it's funny. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jason Lloyd. He works for The Athletic, but he fills in for Bruce when Bruce would be off. So him and I, we had a show that we were doing, and it was like before the season, right? And we're talking about it, expectations, and everyone's like, Cavs, right? Nothing's happening this year. This stinks, right? And Jason Lloyd, who covers the Cavs, was like, there's no way they're doing anything this year. Like,
Don't bother.
And I was like, we're saving this tape just in case, because who knows what could happen. And I'll tell you what, it was funny as we're going through the season, as I'm covering things, as I'm watching the games, as we're seeing the box scores, right? I'm like, every time I'm on air, I'm saying, is this happening? Is this really happening? Like it's continuing. It's going on and on. It's every night. I was like, I can't believe this. This is really just incredible what Bickerstaff is able to do with this team for what this team was. And you talk about injury, you talk about COVID, those all have to play into factor with every single team in the NBA. So that's just kind of course, there's some bad luck when it's a lot of injury, but I think the biggest thing is Kevin Love accepting his role off the bench when we all thought, write it off, he's done. You know what I mean? This is not a good marriage anymore with the Cavs and Kevin Love. I think when he saw those young kids and how they were able to play and their potential and how his role could fit into this team, which is this perfect veteran presence who's still very good at basketball, but just learned to accept that role in a different way that he hadn't before. And he bought in. And when I listen to him talk, it is like I'm listening to coach number 2 on this team. Yeah. So that has to be, when you're a young guy like that, listening to not only JB Bickerstaff, who has done such a good job with these young guys and with this team, making them cohesive, but you have Kevin Love doing that too. And I hear that every time he speaks and how he feels about this team. And it's so fun to watch. And I never would have thought they would be in this position where they are right here today. And I think that they got a little unlucky, like we said. Can you, get a guy like Jared Allen back when it comes to the postseason and things like that? And maybe it works out. And, we've seen stranger things, I'll tell you that. And I think that they can continue this on because of that mentality too. And it isn't going to be all, it's about that basketball talent and what this team is able to do. But we've seen it. They've been surprising us.
Yeah.
They're doing it. And I wouldn't count them out of anything. So I think it's been great. And I do think Kevin Love is the biggest reason why.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I didn't even mention that you spoke on the talent that was brought in by Colby Altman. I feel like he's been doing a superb job with Garland. And then the unicorn that we just got with Mobley. He's like the amount of growth he has from just the beginning of the season to kind of taking the role now of being more physical, maybe more assertive with himself in the paint. I mean, he has so much more to go too. He's only a rookie, and he's going to get Rookie of the Year this year, more than likely. But it's going to be very exciting if we do get Jared Allen back to get that playoff push.
It is. It's so fun to watch those young guys because you never know what's going to happen, right? You can say how great they
Exciting.
are There's guys like, okay, but that LeBron will come through, and there's those guys, right? But you don't know, and you're going to look at a guy and see what is the potential of an Evan Mobley in this system, because I think that's so important too. It's not just that basketball talent of Evan Mobley and what he brings. How does he work into this team, right? And that's on the coach of how you figure this out and make this work. And you're seeing a lot of great things, and it's crazy because you say, what can the full potential be? And we get to watch that, which is awesome.
And your Kevin Love point was probably spot on too. It's like the Kevin Love that he had tantrums last season on court, in the middle of the court in front of everyone, just throwing the ball, throwing tantrums. Yep. And now, like you said, he is that second coach, that second voice, and he's having fun even when he's getting posterized by LeBron.
Which I think was funny anyway, so that's fine. He was good with it.
Yeah,
he's gonna invite LeBron to the wedding, he said, so it's fine.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, LeBron had to come through, of course, and still, this is still my house. Just so you guys know, and drop a quick, triple double on us, which was tough because they've been struggling. But
happen. I'm just like, that's what he does. He knows he's coming back.
Yeah.
And why are we not expecting this? This is exactly how he writes things up. He knows. Turns it on.
You think he'd ever come back?
No,
I highly doubt. I'm just maybe.
I think he wants to play with Bronny. So I think where he's going to go is going to not be the Cavs, because I don't think. I mean, you're going to have to draft Bronny, who isn't best in your. You're going to take a shot on Bronny to get LeBron to come for a year or two, right? I don't think that would be the Cavs.
Yeah, I feel like by then you're going to have to give an extension to your Garlands. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to maybe try to make another run at trying to bring Colin Sexton back, which I kind of hope. But by then you'd have a lot of money in the team already before you try to. How
old's Bronny now?
$40 million, 37. Oh, Bronny, I think he's
Bronny,
16.
What does he have?
Or I think he's about to be. Or I think he's junior year.
Sure. I think
16, 17ish.
He would be. Yeah. So LeBron's 38, right?
Yeah.
Then 2 more years, and then
maybe 3
4 years out of him, or 3 years. I don't know. But if he wants to play with Bronny, I mean,
maybe he could. I mean, look what he's doing now. That guy is just unhuman.
$1 million on the body every year.
It's insane. But yeah, I think that's so cool if he's going to do that with his son. I just think that would be the best thing to watch. And so whatever team is going to take that chance, I mean, you're going to fill that stadium
easily.
That is just such a cool experience, I think, for whoever does that. So it's going to
hope they like playing in Detroit.
Yeah, right.
Has anybody else done that?
I don't.
Like a father-son or something
like that. Like maybe father-son. But, I think it's so different because he probably would have retired, right? Essentially before Bronny would actually come. So to stay 1 more year for him I think it'd be so cool first year, and then you're just done. Then let Bronny do his thing. Don't try to keep going. You're Tom Brady in it. But
that dude. Again? Come on, you already did once.
Well, I tweeted out. He spent 2 months straight with his wife and kid. He's like, all right. Well.
That's so many people say. Like, oh my God. I actually think why? Because Adam Schefter broke that news that he retired before he got to. And I don't think he wants to go out like that. He wants to be in control of the narrative of when my career is going to end. And I'm going to get it out there. Like whoever... thanks Adam for just throwing it out there when I wasn't ready to tell people. Yeah, right. I feel like he's like that. It needs to be this big to do, right? About that.
We wasted a good surprise on you.
He didn't get the moment. So.
Yeah. And then that whole thing with kind of skipping over New England and his exit.
Oh yeah, they were mad about that.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, man. Gotta
love him.
He's
gonna go back.
I'm a fan of Tom Brady.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's something. We'll see what he can do, though. I don't know what the Bucks kind of lost.
Still got it.
A couple guys, but yeah, absolutely. I guess we'll kind of jump into football. I mean, Browns season last year, we were kind of primed to make a real run after a really awesome year in 2020. Didn't really lose anyone and added some big components and key pieces to the team, but just couldn't make it happen. We ran into some injuries, and they were kind of. I still am not 100% sure who kind of placed the blame on trotting Baker Mayfield out when he's like kind of being stuck together with duct tape and glue there for a few weeks, and they just kind of let him play out. But yeah, it was a disappointing season, and then just drama filled regular season with exits, of OBJ, and just now kind of into the
what's up with
offseason
that, dude?
the really ugly divorce with Baker Mayfield, and then obviously a very polarizing acquisition of Deshaun Watson. But where do you we'll start off with last season. I mean, where do you think things went kind of wrong, and then we'll kind of go into the off-season stuff.
I think things went wrong when we're letting Baker Mayfield decide if he should be out there or not. And I think that that's what happened. And I am on record-ish that I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I was not a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I think that there's so much talent on the Browns. And I think for everything, but for Baker to be really, really good, everything has to be going perfectly. And that never can happen with the Browns. And that can never happen with a lot of NFL teams. So that it doesn't work. You're seeing that, right? You're seeing him kind of get snippy with the media when he doesn't want to answer a question, or if he's something this way. Then we're hurt, right? And there's multiple injuries that are happening. And I just kept saying, like you did, well, who's making this call? Because it seems to me like Baker is. And I don't know that for sure. But if I'm, the trainer, and the trainer's like, oh, okay, you could if you needed to. I think he just wanted to be out there because he needed to try and show, he was worth a contract. Obviously, he wasn't. And I just think that caused a lot of turmoil. Obviously, something was going on with Odell and Baker. Obviously, it was very clear. Whatever was happening, it wasn't working. We all saw it. I don't care what the reason was. It wasn't working and had to be fixed. So something behind the scenes, I feel like, just was wrong. And I don't know what it is, but we saw it. You have all this talent. You have Nick Chubb. You have Kareem Hunt. You're looking at Myles Garrett. You're looking at this great offensive line that they finally put in place for you. And we have Baker that's trying to get a contract, and he has, the leg and the shoulder and whatever else needs to happen. Like, I don't know, get him surgery then. Or my thought is, did they make him go out there so he could fail?
That is a good theory.
So okay. I don't know, and I can't say.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, right, knowing, okay, well, we're not going to offer him a ton of money if this is the way, he's playing. And I know he was hurt, but if he was fine to go out there, then he should be fine to play. If he's going to say that, okay, I'm good to go, then sorry, like, the injury can't be used as an excuse anymore. And it was just a lot of drama. Why do we have to have so much drama all the time? I don't.
Right.
It's great to have to cover it and have these stories, but things should be going smoothly if we're trying to be a successful football team. And there's going to be some turmoil, but it doesn't need to be this much. And maybe Odell didn't cause it, but it seems like he did, right? And wanted to be out of there. So that's what went wrong, I think. And the biggest part was Baker Mayfield not doing what he needed to do.
And that hurts me, I'm on record fully for being a full-on Baker supporter. And, from a football standpoint, I agree that we needed to get better at the position. We can't waste the prime years of Garrett, Ward, and then all the other cornerstone pieces that we have. What I'm saying is that it sucks because I feel bad for him in the sense because at this point, it almost seems like national media is creating almost like a character assassination on him at this point, where it feels like we don't know anything because I guess ever since COVID, the whole media interaction with players in locker rooms, all that stuff kind of changed. So we're just left in the dark at that point. So we don't know the ins and outs, like you said. But it just sort of feels like that, yes, there's obviously a common denominator with Baker Mayfield in every situation with OBJ. Jim Donovan even had a report saying that he possibly lost a lot of people in the locker room on that Cincinnati game, week 18 it was, when he just decided to not play after playing since week 3 when he was injured, but he's not going to play that final game after you're kicked out of the playoffs. There's nothing to win for, so he's not playing. And he didn't even discuss about talking to his players and teammates and coaches. He said, I need to talk with my inner circle, my family, decide what I'm going to be doing, what's best for me going forward. And yeah, so
I just don't
it's
think he can carry a team to a Super Bowl. Do you?
that's fair.
Like, let's be honest. If I have to let's bet. Like, if you're putting all
Right.
you have in the bank on, do I want Baker as the guy to do this? Are you doing that?
I think my answer would be I would want him to be, but do I think he could be? Are two different answers, unfortunately. But I think also there's a lot of excuses, valuable excuses, valid excuses, however you want to say it, for him in his favor. Like the injury is kind of overblown as far as that's concerned. But going back to where he had 4 different coaches, he brought into a Hugh Jackson era Browns. But nonetheless, I'm happy with the direction we are going. I mean, we've definitely upgraded. We have now top 5, and we'll get into that from a football standpoint and off-field opinions there. But he has created a lot of moments for us. He opened up the fridges, for crying out loud, for Cleveland. All the Bud Light you can drink, okay? That was a phenomenal moment Thursday night.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
All about that.
Yeah, he's created a lot of great memories that, for a Browns fan perspective, sure. I'm not going to forget, and I do thank him for that, and I do wish him well on his future endeavors.
And that's the thing too, though. That's the thing that's kind of been a sign of me, because you'll see a guy get traded off to, or either get released or whatever, is about to leave a team or whatever, and then teammates will come out and make posts. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And unless
true.
I've missed some, I haven't seen one teammate come out and make some post about thanking Baker. Well, that's okay. That's true. But
because I just saw something this morning, they were like, "Well, what if Baker has to play when Deshaun Watson is suspended?"
They wouldn't do that, would they?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, they just signed Jacoby Brissett.
Trade. What happened to the trade market for Baker Mayfield? So, okay.
They're talking they might have to give up a pick. And Baker.
So,
I couldn't believe they thought they were going to possibly get a first round pick.
What do you do? If he's still on the team and nothing happens? I don't know. I mean, I know you got Jacoby Brissett, so okay, but where
do you think he would go?
That doesn't make it true. I just, he's not gone yet. You're right, to the point of people saying, "Oh, thank you, Baker," or coming to the defense after he wrote that tweet, like, to Cleveland, basically saying kind of goodbye without saying goodbye. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Real half-assed.
And I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but you keep seeing like the 2 guys that dipped out, OBJ and Jarvis, now are kind of possibly hitting reverse and be like, all right, let's run it back.
Like, that says a lot to me.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
We're not knowing yet, and that'll finally come out, if he is gone. And I don't know that. And I agree with you. There's so many big moments that Baker Mayfield was a part of for this Browns team. But you got to look bigger and better too at times too. Yeah, we should be getting to the playoffs if you're going to have a good team consistently. So yes, we appreciate what happened. We now always need to, consistency is going to have to be key. And if you have a chance to have an elite quarterback, of course you take him, right? I feel like Baker's feelings got hurt. It's a business when it comes down to it. And obviously John Watson is better than you, and that's what they're going to go after. And can't fault the Browns for that.
No, true, you can't.
I mean, because how many games last year we held, Pittsburgh and Baltimore down to less than 18 points, 17 points, and we couldn't put up more than 7 or 10. So stuff like that. I mean, those are the difference makers, and whether or not you can go beyond the usual. But yeah, of course, in typical Browns sports fashion, we make a play for a game-changing quarterback, but of course it comes with, a mile of baggage, and it's been a very, I keep saying polarizing acquisition, because I mean you'll see every day on Twitter, and it's it really is 50-50 of people that are stoked that Deshaun Watson decided to join the Cleveland Browns, and then 50% that are I'm going here, here, and here to root for these guys after being a Browns fan for number of years. But I mean, actually, obviously, because there's two different sides of the story. I mean, football side, it is very exciting to have an elite quarterback finally after 30 plus, and guy that is going to be able to get us, I would assume, more than 10 points a game, and that's kind of what you're going to need. Not only in our division, but you see what the AFC West is doing. They're really stacking the decks out there, which is scary. All four teams, but obviously on that other side, there's a lot of unknowns and what ifs and all kinds of stuff. So, kind of, what is your opinion on the whole Deshaun Watson situation, kind of on both ends?
Yeah. So I will say, obviously, when you can get an elite quarterback like Deshaun Watson, I'm super excited for my team, knowing as a football player, this is what he's doing on the field, right? And why would you not want Deshaun Watson? And that's just kind of, I was super excited about this, and I still am very excited about this. And I will say this because I think that when you look at the baggage, as we're saying, and what comes with Deshaun Watson and the accusations from 22 women, that I understand the points of people that are trying to say, I'm done with the Browns. Why would they do this? I'm of the belief until he's convicted, right, of something, that I can't make that judgment. And I feel for anyone that would be triggered by Deshaun Watson coming to Cleveland, which I know that is a big thing. And of course, your heart goes out to anyone affected by any sort of abuse, whether it's sexual or anything at all. And any of that, if it makes you feel triggered, my heart goes out to you and I feel for you. I just think that he sounds very, hey, like I didn't do this. Like I would have settled. Like he's not going to settle. He didn't want to settle. He wants to let this play out. Obviously 2 different grand juries did not choose to indict him. So what are we seeing there? And my mind will change 100% if anything comes out that any of these 22 women, yes, something did happen. Things are being covered up. But until that time, you have to probably just say, okay, the Browns did their due diligence with Deshaun Watson as a person, they said, right? They were comfortable enough to give all of this money. I don't think in my mind at all, and I know he's a great quarterback, how many teams were trying to go after him that also were doing all of their research, discovery on what Deshaun Watson may or may not have done. And I agree. If he is found guilty on anything, even the slightest thing, of course, I'm going to change my stance on this. But right now, this is where it's at. And I'm excited to have a quarterback of this caliber that can help this Browns team, because you're thinking about, a business decision. And I think and know that Dee Haslam is very involved in what her husband, Jimmy Haslam, is doing and making decisions. And for them to sit and talk, and other women in the organization as well, everyone's daughters, things of that nature, to try and feel comfortable with a decision like that. They know what it's going to come with, and it is coming with this because they're getting backlash. But I think we need to let everything play out until we're condemning completely him for something that may, have happened and may not have happened.
22 is a lot,
I like
though.
that.
22 is a lot.
I just am wondering why they didn't indict in the grand jury. So I don't. I
don't know either.
Trying to process, like, all the information that we see is this or that. So of course there could be a story. So I don't know how long these processes are or how it plays out or not. So I don't know. I guess if I'm having more information and hearing things, of course, like I said. So it definitely can go either way, but I don't know if I'm not going to say I'm not going to be a Browns fan anymore, because
Yeah, that part doesn't make any sense, because like you got other guys like Nick Chubb that busts his ass and puts the city on his back every time he got the ball in his hand, like, and he's got nothing to do with that. So to like kind of like turn your back on the whole team, like, yeah, I don't really get that whole thing.
But I understand everyone's coming from with anything that they want.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's what everyone should. Everyone in that Browns organization had to feel comfortable with something that was getting decided. Everyone in the media now has to decide if they're comfortable or not comfortable with whatever decision is happening or what they find out. So I think it's just going to be a long road to this. And we'll have to see what happens and let it play out, like I said. So yeah, there's going to be ups and downs with this whole entire thing, and making sure everyone, the due diligence is done with any part of this from here on out, since he was there yesterday in Berea for the first day and doing the work and doing work in the community, which I think he said was very important to him, that he will start right away too. So, I don't know if that helps anything, but maybe it will for some people to bring him back to the team if they're, seeing him try to do some things.
Yeah. He's definitely in a rock and a hard place as far as like he says that he didn't do any of this stuff, and he respects women, and he was raised to do exactly that. So I'm not sure how you go, because he was being asked if he wanted to go to therapy and stuff, but it's like, if he didn't do anything, like, what would be the point of that? But it's tough.
And
it's
that's
tough,
how
thing to
right?
navigate.
He's like, well, I'm not going to go to therapy or counseling because he's saying I didn't have a
right.
problem. I didn't do that. So, it's just, you got to kind of see who's saying what you believe, what you don't believe, and try and hope that this gets all settled and figured out. So, like, if there is something that he did, that these women are also going to, be able to feel comfortable then with things. So it's about a lot more than just Deshaun Watson coming to the Browns. It's about the 22 women involved. It's about, all the lawyers, all of the Browns and his teammates now too. And, any of the women that are feeling triggered by something. So there's so many layers with this.
I wonder how much it's costing him. Talking about lawyers, I just thought about how much money that's gotta, you know what I mean? How many times you go to court for that?
I don't think he's got to worry about money anymore.
Oh yeah, now what I'm
Good
saying.
now.
I just want to know what that sum is.
Do you think they maybe should have pushed the introduction press conference back a little bit, or do you think maybe they just wanted to get it out of the way because they knew it was going to be this like interrogation of sorts?
I don't. I think it would have been the same if
Okay.
would have pushed it back, because I don't know. I guess, would they have found something out in the time before they pushed it back or not? Like, if they're waiting for all that to be settled, when is that going to happen? Right.
Yeah.
And get him in there then and let him kind of get acclimated with the facility and he's going to, him and Stefanski are going to want to spend time together and kind of, you've got to have a plan now for what's going to happen in this off season and with this offense. And who knows if he gets suspended for 6 games, 8 games, everyone just, I don't think it would have made a difference, I guess is my final answer on that, because unless something was settled, it's still going to be the same questions and interrogation for Deshaun.
Okay. And then I think really to wrap up the Browns talk, I think we're kind of waiting to see how stuff shakes out as far as like, with maybe Jarvis coming back or another maybe veteran receiver. Clowney, I know they offered him a contract. Haven't really seen what's going on with that, but what do you see the Browns attacking now in the draft?
So I guess, well, obviously we have the needed receiver, right? And we're talking this, and sure, would you love Jarvis back? It's weird that it would be like, okay, we're done, and then we're coming back, and same with Odell. Like, I don't think that's whatever. You get Amari Cooper, big signing, right? But this is where we're always thin at. And we're always then looking at an injury, right? You have your tight ends. You're like, we know Stefanski likes his tight end sets, and that's how things go. I just think shoring up, can you get, I don't even know, what kind of caliber receiver, I guess, and do GMs even love going after unless it's that top guy as a receiver? Yeah. But yeah, I think I love when they do work pre-draft here and getting guys that we're not worried then. So then you're kind of just filling these little holes, and depth is so important. So we're going after that. So that's kind of where I am at with things and trying to see who they can, after reworking Cooper's contractors, trying to get other guys in first and then going after things like that in the draft.
I like that. I'm very happy we got Amari Cooper. I mean, he's going to be a big time, receiver for us, especially with, Deshaun Watson. But part of me does hurt a little bit because I had high hopes. I'm a Buckeyes fan too, so I was hoping to get either Wilson or Olave, over with us, because it seems like if, for whatever reason, the Buckeyes tend to go to the Ravens and the Steelers all the time, and it sucks. And they always end up being Cameron Hayward is he's one of the best interior linemen since he's been in the league. J.K. Dobbins is going to be tearing it up, this year for the Ravens, and but
Yeah, I
that
feel
kind of stuff. But I get it.
Ohio fans are hoping for their
They
Buckeye.
always they don't. I mean, they could go anywhere else, but they always end up with those guys, and it's like, why, man? Like I remember Santonio Holmes went to Pittsburgh, and just it's constantly all those guys that go over there. But no, I'm really excited though. Amari Cooper definitely has a lot left in the tank, and he's. I
Yep.
mean, to have a bona fide #1 receiver. I'm hoping that DPJ can kind of make strides and kind of hit that next level, and I'm kind of excited. Maybe hopefully they give David Njoku more of a feature role too. So we'll see. The
That's
potential's there, that's for sure.
I think if Njoku can like have a breakout season that we all keep waiting for it to happen, it's just
Yeah.
that's your third receiver, right? And then if you're getting whoever's coming back, that's just so great. And I think the tight end position is so important. I always am like this with my fantasy football teams. I always argue with everyone. I'm like, tight end is the most important on your team. Like, I don't care what you say. And I'm finding this when I think with the Browns. It's such an addition to things. And knowing Stefanski likes that so much, like if you just have a bomb tight end, I think it is amazing for this team. So he needs to, step it up because think about that. We kind of have been waiting. You're seeing those flashes from David Njoku.
Yeah.
And it needs to like pan out here now soon. Like maybe there was some issues with Baker. So who knows what could happen with, Deshaun Watson. So that could all be super fun to watch. And then you have Amari Cooper come. And I just hope it doesn't end like OBJ. I just get nervous now every time someone comes to the Browns. Like,
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just
oh God, everyone just please be nice. Don't like fight. Like, don't have
yeah.
drama.
Please don't be Dwayne Bowe. Please just come and actually do something for us.
So,
But Dylan, before we jump in the middle, did you want to put a cherry on top of the Browns talk, or?
I guess so far, what would you grade their offseason to this point?
oh, am I just doing football, right? Like, I'm not going to factor into the other.
Yeah, just football.
Just on the field here, right? I mean,
Right.
you got to get an A if you're getting Deshaun Watson.
All right. I 100% agree.
And I think that they're going to do
Yeah.
some other. So, like, it could be an A+ by the time we're done here. And low with, I don't think it could go low, because you get Deshaun Watson. You're waiting for that quarterback.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I 100% agree with you. They went into the offseason saying that we are going to basically do an autopsy of this passing game, and they're coming back revamped completely almost.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I hope he pans out. It's not a Johnny Manziel situation. All that hype, and then was he playing tag football now?
oh
What you
God.
doing?
I don't know. He's like or something.
He's back.
Yeah. Whatever, but
I just remember the hype
Dylan,
behind that guy.
I don't know.
Johnny.
He was like
Right, he was a huge
Madden,
name.
like a video game character in college. Just and the plays he would make, he just would run around until someone got open. So it's not like he was doing these like amazing
Yeah, that's
throws,
different.
like backyard football stuff that he's doing.
It was working though.
Deshaun's proven in the NFL, so that's at least better.
Yeah.
That, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the situation.
Yeah, and he played on some rough teams too. So, but we'll see. I'm hoping. But
Yeah.
Dylan, let's jump in the mill and we'll keep things rolling.
Boom. Dude,
Man.
I know you love that Joe every time I do it for you. Got a brief one here. A couple announcements. If you missed it last night, TSP Live, our second edition, it went off without a hitch. It was a great time. We need to do it more often, as Joe has explained. Maybe not every week. We don't want to oversaturate, but give the goodies maybe like once a month. Maybe when it gets requested. Wasn't it requested the very first time we did it? It was like, when are you guys doing it again? Well, we did it last night, but in case you missed it, we had a special guest with Hollywood Sav, Hollywood Sav, six-pack Sav, who came out with a new project, Shooters Shoot. We had his interview, freestyle with AD. Be sure to go check him out and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. But yeah, go check out the new project, Shooter. I know, Bobby, you've been checking it out. What is maybe some of your favorite? I know you mentioned it last night, but for those who missed it, maybe favorite song on there. I know mine was "I'm Heme." Absolute fire.
That's that one. Shooter Dribble's great. Baby
I like that
Listen,
one.
Wrist. I mean, the whole project. I mean, it's like a 7-track, LP. So I mean, you can run through that, and there's no skips. So he just keeps getting better, and he represents the city of Cleveland, very well. So you got to respect that, and he definitely shows love and supports the show, just as much as we do him. So shout out.
Yeah, like you said last night, can't wait until he gets back on that stage. And also can't wait for your bars coming out, as you teased a little bit of those last night as well. Excited about that.
Soon.
And in other news, completely opposite spectrum of emotion, very sad, we broke it last night, was that Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins is passed away at the age of 50.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, I was scrolling Twitter during this live stream. I don't remember what I was looking for, but yeah, I had seen somebody share the Foo Fighters like Twitter page, and yeah, they broke that their drummer had passed away at 50, which is super young. And then I kind of seen, I don't remember which news outlet said that he was found dead in his hotel room in like Colombia or something. So
Yeah.
there's some kind of rumors swirling around, but obviously I wouldn't want to speak on that until that the real information comes out. But regardless,
if it ever does,
it's pretty sad because he's got a wife. I'm pretty sure he's got children and stuff, and then of course his bandmates. Somebody had pointed out that Dave Grohl, when he was the drummer for Nirvana, the front man passed away, and then now he's the lead man for Foo Fighters, and then the drummer passes away. So it's like, yeah, what a kind of a wild situation there. But yeah, sad news for sure.
Definitely. It caught us all off guard last night. And kind of wrap it all up with this topic, because it could be a lengthy one. I know we talked a lot on the Browns offseason, but just in general, the NFL offseason, it just goes to prove NFL is king, because you have March Madness going on, but you have all this NFL news kind of just engulfing everything. Every time like something like an upset happens, NFL trade, anything like that. But dude, it's been really crazy. Big names moving, some kind of prolonging and end up staying, like Rodgers. But speaking of the Green Bay Packers, you had Adams going to the Raiders. You had, what else? We had Russell Wilson kind of kicked it all off by going to the Broncos. A lot of big names shifting. So, like, this might be one of the biggest off seasons. I want everyone's opinions here on this one, on your opinion on just the off season as a whole.
It's pretty wild. I feel like I've never seen guys, and I don't know if it's like certain journalists and stuff are trying to jump ahead of everyone with like the scoop. So they're reporting a guy got signed and then it didn't actually happen. I don't know. Or these players are really flip-flopping. Stuff like that has been pretty crazy. I've never really seen, seen multiple players do it. And then just, the big names that are moving from team to team. And like, really, like I said earlier, it's just out of everything that's going on, it's just what the AFC West is doing. It's insane. Like, they're going to be far. I mean, at least on paper, who knows how stuff will shake, but on paper, they are absolutely the best division, in football. All 4 teams have really good quarterbacks, and you got like the Chargers that are bringing Khalil Mack to line up across from Joey Bosa, which is nuts. Like, what do you do there? Even if like Khalil Mack isn't necessarily like, 100% prime, but obviously a lot of the tension is going to have to go to Joey Bosa, and then Khalil Mack's going to, eat him up. But that acquisition's crazy, and just on top of all that, man, a lot of money switching hands for sure.
Since you mentioned the Chargers, I want to tell you guys, my cousin's actually the head coach. Brandon Staley is my cousin. So,
okay.
Are you
all right?
Wow.
The Chargers. He's like my second cousin, but like my mom.
Well, next time you got to tell him to please punt on that 4th down. Don't go for it. Jeez.
I was like, I'm not saying a word. I'll jump in real quick, but I love when there's a lot of off-season moves, and I love when they are quarterbacks. So like with Wilson starting it out, but then I'm like, oh, okay, Matt Ryan still got it. Still going over there. Look what that does, to the Colts, and I don't know, it's just crazy. And then we're watching like what would happen with Baker Mayfield. So I think that was like a second layer of an intrigue for us to see. Okay, Russell goes. Well, would he go to Seattle then? And then this team is getting this quarterback. Well, Baker's not going there, right? So you're just following all of these things, and then Tyreek Hill. I'm just like, what is happening right now with all of these big, and you think Aaron Rodgers, like, okay, I'm coming back. See you later, Devontae, like you mentioned. And I think it's great. I love things like this.
And they said that he knew that he was going to leave. So it was like, what are they?
Know that.
Oh, I thought they said that, or they had talked to him about it or something. But
I just feel like that's his guy, right? How do you?
That's exactly. So I was like, man, I think they waited until the second they seen that ink dry, and they're like, all right, now we'll get the wheels moving, because that's nuts. I think
one too. I mean, when you think about that, I mean, they're are always seemingly good, and what Pat Mahomes has, but I don't know, that's pretty big loss when it comes to them.
Huge. And the thing is the guy that bring in is going to be more focused on doing TikToks than reading the playbook. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but good. Hey, we need we need a little help. Yeah, absolutely, we'll take it. And then I was looking at the Packers roster. I think the only receiver that I recognize is Randall Cobb, and he for sure is not any kind of number one receiver caliber. So I don't know if they're going to try to make some moves in the draft or what, because the veteran receivers out there, there's no one really that would kind of change it. There's definitely no Devontae Adams out there, but there's definitely not even like a second tier guy really.
Yeah, I
don't know.
That's crazy. I love it. I hope I love every offseason should be like this. Carousel
and it's early. There's still some guys out there, and the draft's always fun. Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is usually like the funnest time for Browns fans. So,
yeah,
you're right.
We said the draft was our Super Bowl.
No, it's like we're done with that. I don't even like talk about the draft. I don't even care. Like, you ask me the question, I actually don't even care about the draft. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's the first time in a long time.
No first round pick. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's the first time in a long time no first rounders.
So
yep.
It's like, it's such a change of thought too, because we always were like draft assets, capital, and then it's like now it's just like give it all away. Which I mean, draft picks are just unproven talent in my opinion. So it's like you really only have like maybe 20 elite players.
Worked for the Rams, they don't got they haven't had a first rounder in so long. So and they got him one. So if that's what you got to do, then let's do it.
100%.
How many of those do you think got thrown away by the Browns? First rounders, just
a lot.
Oh my God.
Even the ones that were used were thrown away.
I mean,
so bad.
A lot.
Could have had if you think back really to who the Browns could have had, it's that list is it makes you want to cry.
Painful, huh?
Painful.
Yeah.
We could have had Deshaun Watson back in 2017.
That exactly. Like, you just look at all of those players and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is what we have. What happened?
I mean, if you had Deshaun, you would have your Tyrod. You know what I mean? What happened to that guy?
Yeah. He's is he in Houston?
He got signed somewhere else. I can't remember where he just signed somewhere. And I can't believe I was waiting for him to have some sort of humongous like lawsuit with that whole thing with the Chargers, like stabbing his lung or whatever, like puncturing his lung, I should say. Like, that was a crazy like story. So I maybe they like had some kind of behind the scenes thing with them, because I don't know. That would be
it was definitely a settlement there. Definitely.
But before we jump into this or that, I know you're a busy lady and doing all kinds of stuff and wearing a lot of different hats and stuff. But when you aren't working, what are some of the things that you like to do to kind of unwind and enjoy yourself?
Yeah. Well, when it's not, as I'm watching all the snowfall outside, I'm gonna throw up.
It's disgusting.
I love going to the metro parks and like finding a hike. Like, I love it. I could do it all the time, and I love cooking. And I don't even I would just cook and take it to people. Like, I watch the Food Network all the time, and I just love it. So that is definitely like my go-to. And hanging with my I have a niece who's 2 years old, and my sister's pregnant with twin girls, and
Oh,
she's
God.
Whoa.
September. So just soaking up all the time with my niece right now while she's an only child, and that's super fun. So just kinds of those things, nothing too crazy. It's, work is always busy, so I love just being at my house. I moved into a new house about a year and a half ago on the east side of Cleveland, so just really enjoying home and designing and things like that. So kind of lame, but that's what I got for you.
No, I
No,
love being at
I mean,
home.
you're talking to 30-year-olds, so that's my favorite thing too. I love to cook and just be home and away
Yeah.
from all the craziness out there. But what would you say is like the Ashley Collins signature dish or something that people are like,
Ooh.
Ashley, you're coming to our dinner party, you got to bring this or this?
Lasagna, I would say.
I was gonna
Okay.
guess that. I swear to God.
Part Italian, and my grandma was like the best cook of life. Like anything she made was just
Nice.
best. So I've always loved making Italian food, but I like making everything. I would say lasagna first and enchiladas are second. So that's
Okay.
Good choices.
I make
That's
whatever. Like
my mom she's 100% Japanese, and people always ask me like, what's your favorite thing that your mom makes? And they'll probably usually expecting some kind of sushi or a Japanese dish, and some of that stuff does get into like the top 5. But my number one favorite thing that she makes is her lasagna. It's just fantastic. It's
lasagna
phenomenal.
is the best, right? Everyone
Yeah.
likes it. You could sit out. It doesn't have to be really hot when you're like, it's just such a good thing. And
You
it's
could
Yeah.
freeze it. You know what I mean? You could freeze it and keep
travel
it.
well. I take it anytime when my friend has a baby, and they all love it. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for the lasagna." I was like, "Well, you're like 2 months pregnant, so I could just bring it." Or you pop
Yeah.
the baby out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just one of those things like pasta or like, something like that where like you put it in the fridge and the next day it's like almost even
Oh,
better
yeah.
the next day after it sits.
Love.
So yeah, I'm with that. And then we got to get some of your favorite, food spots around the city or maybe,
Yeah.
that you found on your travels.
Okay, so in Cleveland, and I'm really like not downtown like to work I am, but like not going out a lot there, but like the casual spot is like Edison's Pizza in Tremont is the best thing of life. And I don't know if any of you have had it. If you haven't, next time you're in the area, you have to go. It is the best pizza in this little place, and I love it. So like we get it at work a lot if we're there, or I'll get it and take it home because like my family here on the east side that never travels past, however long miles because they can't drive downtown. I always have to bring back to them on the east side. I love going to like Ohio City, like Town Hall is a place down there that's really great. There's so many great restaurants in downtown Cleveland. In like West Side, I have a bunch. I used to live on the West Side. So Strip Steakhouse is the best. Pier W right on the water. All kinds of places. But I recently found a new favorite restaurant of all time in Arizona when I was in Old Town Scottsdale. And it's funny. Actually, I can't believe I just forgot this. So I have to say this. So it's called Silvestro's Depot Cafe here. It's an Italian place. Old school, like little hole in the wall. If you pulled up, you'd be like, I don't understand what this is. Like you're lying. Sure. Yes, it's in Paynesville. I'll tell everyone right now if you're watching, you need to go. I've been going there, my whole family, since I was like 2 years old. We've been there, and it's just old school Italian, best prime rib you'll ever have, best lobster, and then all your Italian dishes. So I'm telling you that because the owner, Jerry, always says he goes to Arizona and he says there's this amazing Italian restaurant in Old Town Scottsdale you have to check out. And I never did. Finally, it's called Marcelino's in Old Town Scottsdale, and it is the best Italian ever. If anyone's traveling there, you need to go. And it's funny because I'll tell people that live in Arizona that we're going there, and they're like, I've never heard of it. And it's like tucked away in this little corner. Oh my God. I'm just telling you, it's the best.
A real gem, huh?
The
Those
gem.
are the best places. Have the best
really
food.
want to go eat there right now. So maybe
Right.
get out of the snow. It's like 93 at Arizona, by the way, right now too. So
Maybe
Yeah.
Uber Eats.
What are we at, 36 here?
Because we were just hearing all about it during the All-Star game. Like everyone constantly is always shitting over the city of Cleveland, but like food spots are elite. there's a ton of stuff to do. I mean, obviously these days weather's not the greatest. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Downtown Cleveland or Cleveland is probably howling and not the best.
That
place
old
to
lake
be, but,
effect.
Yes.
you know, there's a dope music scene. Like I just Cleveland gets a bad rap for whatever reason. It's a very underrated city.
But it's, you know what I'll tell you, because they do such a great job every event that we've ever had here, right? Like when we do the All-Star games and all of that stuff. And then when people actually do come here and see it and are in it and can go to these places, and they're like, hey, it is really great in Cleveland. I don't know why I said it was so, shitty. So they realize once they can come and check it out, they just don't know. So, don't act until you try it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
There was a
we got it done.
well, I didn't know if you were going to move on from food, but speaking of Cleveland and food, that they were just recently named top 5 cities for pizza by Spiritual World. Detroit ranked number 1. And then I guess Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Boston
What?
were all in there.
New York and Chicago didn't get in there, huh? Even though Chicago deep dish is overrated, but still,
It is.
I figured they'd be thrown in the mix.
Maybe they oversaw. Maybe they seen the overhype, Bobby, and they were with you on that, so they didn't put them in there.
Yeah, Detroit.
yeah,
Detroit style.
great
You know
region.
how I feel about that, but I didn't know Cleveland's got a good pizza scene, huh? I guess I got to get hip.
I mean, I really like Edison's. I'm trying to think in my mind right now how other place. Oh, there's some, so it's not like right downtown, which is tough because like everything is in the suburbs. So like Lakewood has an awesome place called Angelo's, and then Tremont has Edison's. So there's all these like little places around that aren't in the city right downtown. So maybe they're considering that is what I would have.
Probably, yeah.
The suburbs
Okay.
and around Cleveland on the west side is just ridiculously amazing.
All right, we're gonna play a little this or that, and I have one more question for you. And we're gonna get you out of here, Ashley. So
Hey,
we're gonna enter the TSP arena, and Dylan's gonna put up 90 seconds, and I'm gonna fire off a bunch of this or that. So we'll see how you do here.
Kind of nervous.
All right, 90 seconds on the clock.
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Coke,
Good steak or good burger?
steak,
Fall or spring?
spring,
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac,
Breadsticks or dinner rolls?
breadsticks,
Breakfast or dinner?
dinner,
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix,
Music or podcasts?
music. Sorry,
Apple or Android?
Apple,
Cake or pie?
cake,
Loyalty or respect?
loyalty,
Couch or recliner?
couch,
Money or free time?
money,
Candy or popcorn at a movie?
both, but popcorn if I have to pick.
And this is for a toilet paper roll. Over or under?
Oh my God, I could die talking about this. It has to be over. Has to be over.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed,
100%
yes.
respect.
Oh
Yeah.
my,
We'll touch on it in a second. Pancake or waffle?
waffle,
Iced or hot coffee?
hot,
Super sandwich?
sandwich,
Cavs or Browns?
stop, brown,
Beer or liquor?
beer,
And then spaghetti or Alfredo?
spaghetti.
There it is. You did pretty good. But yeah, I'm glad you went over because I think we've had a couple of folks that they're under people for whatever weird reason.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I can't.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I change at other people's houses.
Same. I do the same thing.
Like, what is wrong with your bathroom? Because I don't
Yeah,
think how
doesn't
things
make any sense.
here.
Right.
Maybe nobody
Yeah.
showed you. You can go this way, the proper way.
Oh my God! it
Yeah,
drives
maybe-
me
yeah.
insane. One of those things. It's one of those
Hate
things
it.
that drives me insane.
Some people are like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does.
Yes,
It does matter so
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
But
God.
all right, we have one final question for Ashley, and we'll cap off a great episode.
Okay.
And it's a question we ask all our guests in each episode, and it is: knowing what you know today, what is one thing you would tell your 18-year-old self?
Ooh, you guys are really, tough, hard-hitting questions here today. Oh, okay, 18. So I think I would probably say don't care so much what people think. And I say that because I think when you're young, and if people do it now as adults, but you just care so much of if someone's judging you about something. And the world of social media now, if someone says something bad about you or whatever it may be, and in reality, like, who cares? Like, who
Right.
cares? As long as you're good with what you're doing or what you want to do, don't let anyone else hinder it or knock you down or make you think it's not important, or it is. And honestly, like, you get to a point and you just have to say it's about, me and my family and my friends, but outside noise is all just stupid BS.
Agreed.
100%.
Good
Yeah.
answer. Actually, I lied. I do have one more question. I forgot to ask earlier, but
Okay.
what would you say? What are your future goals and like aspirations as far as career wise, and
Yeah.
maybe some moves you want to make going forward?
So I'm always just trying to find opportunities if they're out there. I love what I'm doing. I love doing sidelines too, though. Like, I do all the high school football and basketball championships sidelines. So I like get that every, twice a year, that like, okay, I love doing this. It's so much fun to me. So I would probably like maybe to do more of that if I could see that in the future. And I love hosting shows. So I know Bruce retiring, that went away right now. So we'll see what happens and hope that something is there in the near future, and, always trying to come up with ideas of what I could be doing. So that's it.
There we go. And I mean, 14 years in the game. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Ashley Collins Sports Ohio.
Yeah.
In the future. Maybe he'll be running the game.
Let's hope.
But yeah. But Ashley, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've been following and watching you for a long time. So
Thank
this was a really exciting episode, and we appreciate giving us an abundance of time on a Saturday. So thank you again for coming on, and make sure plug your socials and stuff, anything you got going on, where they can find you and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
you can find me usually mostly Twitter is what I'm using, at Ash Collins, on Facebook too and stuff. But Twitter, I think, is my main stuff. I have Instagram, Ash Collins 12. But yeah, find me, follow me. Happy to chat with, whatever. And this was a lot of fun, so I appreciate you guys asking me to be on.
Thank you, Dylan. 1:38. We're out. You know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again for everyone who tuned in for another episode of TSP Season 5. Just another absolute phenomenal episode of Season 5. Great guest. Thank you, Ashley, for giving us some of your time on a busy schedule. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Take care, and we will see you again next week.